Hello everyone, let me walk you through the process of how I made my queen Anne neckline. I've gone ahead to make all the necessary lines that I need just so that this video is not overly long. I have the armhole line, the bust line, the underbust line and the waist line because I want to focus on just the upper part of this design. So let's get into it. I've gone on to mark 1/4, that's my bust divided by 4 already on my armhole line. Then on the waistline, I'm going to mark my waist divided by 4 plus 1 inch for my dart allowance. So my waist is 7, my waist divided by 4 is 7 plus 1, so I'm going to mark 8 inches. And I'm going to connect these two. On my bust line, I'm going to mark my nipple to nipple measurement. Mine is about 3.5. I'll mark the same on my waistline. Then on my bust line, I'll go downwards by 1 inch just so that I do not make my dart on my nipple point. So I'm going to mark this. Then afterwards, I'll come down to my waist and mark my dart measurement. I'm using 0.5 on both sides of the dart. Then I'm going to connect that. The next thing I'm going to do is to do my underbust tightening. So on this side I want to use 0.25 and on this side I want to use 0.75. So it means I've tightened my underbust by 1 inch altogether. And then with my curved ruler, I'm going to connect that back to my dart line. Then I'll connect each of these points back to the waistline. After this, I'm going to extend this line all the way down to my shoulder line. Then you're going to determine how deep you want your neckline to be. So for me, I'm going to come up from my armhole by 1 inch because I do not want my top to be too low. Then from there, I'm going to connect in a sweetheart form back to my center front. Then the next thing I'm going to do is to mark 0.5. But before then, you know I came up here by 1 inch. I'm going to mark the same 1 inch here and make a straight line. So it's easier for me to walk around that area. So I mark 0.5 here and also 0.5 here, just so that you tighten this area. If not, the neckline is most likely going to gape, and we don't want that. So I'm now going to connect that back to my bust point here. Then when you are done doing this, you can either connect from this point here, you can connect it back. From this point, you can connect it to the neckline. Like this, and you have your Queen Anne's neckline. But I like the easy way out of everything. Most times you might try to notch this area so you know how to where you're going to connect this first piece to this one. So the trick I use is I'll go in by 0.25 here. I will erase all of this so that you can understand what I'm doing without any confusion. This is our second dart. This is the first one. This is our second dart here. I went in by 0.25 here. Then I'm going to connect, instead of me to connect from here to the neckline, I'm going to connect from this point instead. You see why I did this when I'm done cutting now. And before I cut out, I'll just add my sewing allowances around. There's one more tip I want to share now that I'm doing this. Because I'm working with a stretchy fabric, I'm not going to add any sewing allowances on the side. I added on the armhole, I added at the shoulder, but I'm not going to add at the side because I want it to be really fitted. If I don't, the dress will turn out to be, you know, slightly too big. So if you're working with a really stretchy fabric, you might not need to add your sewing allowance. But if you're not sure, you can add the sewing allowance. By the time we are sewing, you can take in more if you need to as you go. So I'll go ahead now and cut out my pattern. So watch this space carefully. This was what I was talking about. Now here is why I left this little point. So when I'm joining my pieces together, I already know that I'm going to start from here, so it's easier for me to sew. I hope you understand what I'm saying. With this little cutout, I don't have to worry about, oh, where am I going to join this, or having to notch on my fabric. When I bring these these pieces together, I just know where to start joining from. Do you understand? Then one more thing to do is, you can see that this place looks a little sharp on this end. Then what we're going to do is to take out 0.25 from here. So you come here and mark 0.25. See this? Then connect it back to this point. We're going to cut out this small portion. It just helps your front piece to sit better. And this is what you have at the end of the day. So thank you for joining me on today's episode. Do well to like, subscribe, share this video with anybody you know it might be useful to. And I will see you in my next video. Bye.